Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Jason and I make posters. Today is Music Tuesday, so let's go ahead and take a CD from my collection and make a poster out of it. Alright, so I'm in here in my CD collection, so let's copy all of this to my clipboard, paste them all in the randomizer, and pick a random CD. The NeverEnding Story soundtrack. Let me go grab that. Alright, so the NeverEnding Story soundtrack that I have is different from the one that came out here in the United States. This is actually the international version of the soundtrack, and the reason I have this one is because it's a lot more pure, a lot more original to the actual music that you hear in the movie. It doesn't have all of the synths added in and stuff like that. Although I would like to get the American release. I just happen to have this one. And let's see, is this one right here? This is the one that has my favorite bit of music. Is the Sphinx Gate. I just love the music that plays during that. Very mysterious, very dark sounding. So anyway, last weekend I watched this movie with my kiddos, probably their third or fourth time seeing it. They absolutely love it. So I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but let's figure something out. All right, so I'm here in Illustrator, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to be careful about not designing a poster for the movie. We have to design it for the soundtrack, so it's going to be very different. You know, like my approach is going to be different. So what I like about this, at least the soundtrack it's on here, I don't know how well you can see that right there, but for some reason there's a rainbow right here. There's a rainbow behind the ivory tower, and I'm not really sure why because there's not a rainbow in the movie. So I'm not really sure what they did there. It was probably just like a conceptual piece of art or something like that. But I'll probably pull from the color palette from this actual CD right here. So I'm gonna set this down and I'm gonna try to see what I can come up with just on the fly. I have no idea what design style I'm going to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. So right after I finished talking just now, I remembered the lyrics "There Upon the Rainbow" from the actual theme song. So maybe that has something to do with why there's a rainbow behind the ivory tower right here. But I don't. But I mean, it's really just a guess. I just figured I'd mention it. All right. So the first thing that I did here was type in '80s rainbow into Google because there's all kinds of different rainbows out there. I don't know if I'm going to end up using a rainbow on the actual poster itself, but I just figured I would go and grab some ideas. So what I like about this one right here is the particular shades of these colors. This is very 80s right here. These are the rainbows that I grew up seeing in all of the different places that I would see things for kids, you know. So like the rainbow color palette right here, very much like it. So I think I'm going to grab this one and drop it into the Illustrator file, and I will just go ahead and create a color palette based on this rainbow. And I actually really do like the background of this paper, so I think that this will actually be my background. The rainbows that I remember, like the rainbows and really just the overall colors that I remember from the 80s were very saturated. And then they also have, like even back then, they had like this almost this red cast, this red overtone to it to kind of give it a vintage look, even though at the time it wasn't really vintage. But really, I'm just going to kind of play around, and really I like the idea of it looking like something that you would see in a school back in the 80s. I don't know why, for some reason I like that. Maybe it's because of the, you know, he's actually reading the book in the school. So I'm just gonna draw a little inspiration and just improvise something. And also, since this is all in German, I'll do the same thing. I'll type everything out in German. I've got to be really careful about typing these because I do not type, speak, or read German. Typically for something like this, I would do Helvetica Bold, and I may end up doing that. I just need to see if I can find a font that screams this is the right one. But so far, like, I like this one, but it's not quite 80s childhood academic I'm going for here, if that's even a thing. So we will see what Adobe Fonts has to offer. I want something with a good bold weight right here, and I want something that, you know, if it's not exactly Helvetica Bold, I want something that's very similar to it. So this Forma, this is actually one of my favorites. I really like this one. I haven't used it in a long time, so I may come back to that one. Elza is also a really good one. I like that one a lot. Very similar to Helvetica, but it's got just enough of a difference to it. And let's see here. I'll probably end up going with that one because that's the only one that's really jumping out at me and saying, I'm the font that you're looking for. All right, so just changing it to Elza text really makes a big difference here. So this is definitely what I'm going for. And as far as the rainbow goes, we are definitely going to do like a darker color for the text, and then I'll actually do the rainbow itself on here. I'm probably not going to do a traditional like arc, like an arc rainbow. I'll probably do something like maybe like a horizontal one, but then just kind of give it a nice slant or something like that. So I'll just kind of play around with it. All right, so I really like this, but outside of doing this particular poster, I would never actually put a rainbow together that has that red and orange so close together, but I really like it for some reason. And I think that when we add in any type of effects in Photoshop, it's really got to show through nicely. All right, so I'm going to do a vertical shear on this, and we'll see just what we can do just in terms of, you know, just kind of giving a little bit more visual interest there. I actually do like that. Maybe, oh, I know what we can do. Let's try this. So we'll copy and paste it in front, do a reflection, just kind of put this behind here, and then everything that's in the back, let's try to flip it like that. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. So if I'm going to do something like that, then I want to give it some dimension. So I'll probably do like a nice subtle drop shadow on this one right here. I actually just had the idea, what if I made them look like pages of a book? Just kind of like this right here. And then maybe do something like this, where we do 10 inches and then 10 inches. Really, I'm just kind of playing around right now. I don't really have a particular plan, but maybe we could do like an off-center type of thing. Just kind of make it look like it's kind of never-ending, you know, like never-ending story. Something like this, what you'd want to do is you would want to grab this and use your pathfinder to cut that off, and then get rid of the blue right there, and then just continue on with this. So it kind of gives that, you know, that illusion of never ending. So let's do this. Let's flip this. Just kind of see what that looks like. That's pretty cool. I like that. So it kind of looks like an open book, and it looks like it's, you know, never ending. I like the idea of it going all the way up to the top right there. And now let's bring in the type. I have to keep reminding myself that we are designing for the soundtrack, not for the movie or the book. So let's bring a little bit of a focus on music here. So I'm actually going to make this even just a little bit tighter right there. Our main heading is going to be 120 point, which I think is a really good size for what we're doing. And let's bring this to about, actually I'm going to go all the way over visually, and then we are going to push it out, or push it in, probably about 1 1/4 inch. I think that's good. We'll do like a 1 1/4 inch margin around everything. Bring the baseline down to there, and then do negative 1 1/4 there. Actually, let's do this. I have a little bit more text to add here, and I'm going to type it out in German. And I really hope that I use this properly here. So original film music from, and then the composer there, Klaus Doldinger. I have no idea how you pronounce it, but I really hope I used it properly. And let's give it plenty of breathing room in between each other. I think that looks good right there. And instead of me typing all of the titles out, I'm actually going to go and grab those. All right, so I'm going to plop this into Sublime Editor and get rid of all of those numbers. And so to the person that is the non-German speaker, looking at this, they should be able to surmise that this is actually for the soundtrack, for something, because they're not going to be able to read the German to know that it's for the Neverending Story. So that's kind of the goal here, and that's the reason why I kept those numbers right there, the actual track lengths, was because just to make it a little bit easier to know exactly what this is for. I could probably split these up into 2. All right, that's looking good right there, and it totally looks like something that you would see on a poster, like in a classroom or something like that, where you've got that really harsh blue that's kind of in front of all of those other colors right there. If that yellow weren't right there, then I would definitely go with that cream color for the type, but I'm probably going to end up going with this dark blue. I think that it does give at least enough contrast to be able to read it against even the red and the orange right here. And then the green can be a little bit tricky, but I think it's okay. I do want to at least try black and just kind of see how that looks. Actually, I like that so much that I changed my main type to black. Another thing that's on the cover here is the Das Album, so I'll probably do that right there. And that looks good right there, just kind of a line left. I think that looks good. Maybe I'll bring this down an inch and a quarter and then bring the type down a little bit more. Just gives everything a little bit more breathing room. And then I just brought the track titles down 3/4 of an inch. I like the idea of making the track lengths light type right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So that last one, I forgot to add the track length in there, so that's going to change my positioning just a little bit. And I am actually going to see if I can find like an icon or a vector version of the Orin. And let's see here. That looks good right there. We'll just bring it into Illustrator and live trace it. Let's open up our image trace window right here. When you click on preview right here, it's making those the eyes from the snakes go away. I don't want that to happen, so we are going to go paths high, corners less, and noise less. Actually, I'm probably going to go, probably want it to go a little bit smoother, so probably down to about 50. And then the threshold we will bring to around 60. Like, you know, this thing doesn't have to be perfectly geometric. I just want to get like the overall symbol on the poster itself. There we go. And it doesn't even have to be that big. We're gonna do like a little, almost like it's a little badge at the bottom. Yeah, like that right there actually looks really good. We'll just make it the same height as this right here. So roughly an inch. We'll just call that roughly an inch, and we'll call it done. Want to take a look here, see if there's anything else that I want to add to the back of it. Not seeing anything else, so I think I'm happy with this. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this into Photoshop. All right, so I've copied and pasted into Photoshop minus the background right there. And it's funny because without that background, this kind of looks like a VHS type of design, which is fine. You know, that would also lend itself to the subject matter as well. But I am gonna go in here, grab the hex value, so I can add a background layer underneath this. And then as far as the effects go, I'm just going to keep it really simple. I'm going to grab like a paper overlay. I may put a little bit of grain on there just to give it some added texture, but we're really just going to do the paper. So I'm just going to do something like this. And it's really going to help to give it more of a retro age look rather than a vintage age look. There's a difference there. There's a difference between making something look 40 years old and 100 years old. So we're just going for something like, you know, 40, which is crazy to me. 1984 was almost 40 years ago. So here we go, overlay, very simple, very effective, because we have, let's go ahead and go to 100% view and just kind of see what this looks like. Normally I would go in and fix this little line right here, but I think that it actually adds a lot to it. You know, to give it more of a vintage look. We're seeing a little bit of the effects picked up here in the type, and that's because it's not 100% black. So let's go in and add a little bit of a grain layer, probably 25 all around should do the trick just fine. A little bit of a vignette to give it a more aged look, and overlay is going to be our perfect layer. Okay, so there is our grain layer that is laying on top of our paper layer, which is just adding the perfect amount of retro feel to this. Let me get rid of the guides right here so you can see this. Here's our NeverEnding Story International version poster that we've put together and really given it a nice retro feel, inspired by the rainbow that is on the album cover, at least in my theory, that is inspired by the lyrics, which ironically is not on this version. So read whatever you want to into that. All right, well, that is another poster design for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please remember to hit like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. I am running out of breath. I have so much to do today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.